You know what? It would help if I had the microphone on. That's two things I screwed up tonight. We're going to start at 9:15. What I was saying, you could not hear me, is that I'm going to talk about, I think I have an explanation for some of the GPS anomalies experienced at Skinwalker Ranch. Why 1.6 gigahertz is important. And the military is involved. The FCC is involved. And a satellite company is involved. Just saying. Why at Skinwalker Ranch? That remains to be discussed. But I'd like to talk about that tonight. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start 5 minutes basically. I'm going to roll some B-roll just to, since I did say 9:15, to allow if somebody wants to join, they can join. And I'm going to talk about it after we go through the music and set the mood. And that's what it's intended to do. All right. And here we go.
Don't wanna wake up, I might be dreaming. I might be dreaming. You're stirring things up, my heart is beating. My heart is beating. I won't let go, I can't say no. My heart is yours, so I say here we go. You do that something to me, you do that something to my heart. I give up, feel my stop, I'm like a spinning top. to do this, it ain't my style. It ain't my style. You see right through me, I don't wanna hide. No, I don't wanna hide. I won't let go, I can't say no. My heart is yours, so I say here we go. You do that something to me, you do that something to my heart. I give up, you won't stop, I'm like a spinning top. You do that something to me, you do that something to my heart. I give up, you won't stop, and I keep spinning. You see right through me, do that to me, so let's do this, baby. You do that something to me, you do that something to my heart. I give up, you won't stop, I'm like a spinning top. Giving it up, giving it up, giving it up, giving it up, giving it up. Oh, I'm like a spinning top. Giving it up, giving it up, giving it up, giving it up, giving it up. Don't wanna wake up, I might be dreaming. I might be dreaming. You're stirring things up, my heart is beating. Oh, so I say here we go. You do that something to me, you do that something to my heart. I give up, you won't stop, I'm like a spinning top. You do that something to me, you do that something to my heart. I give up, you won't stop, and I keep spinning. You see right through me, do that to me, so let's do this, baby. You do that something to me, you do that something to my heart. I give up, you won't stop, I'm like a spinning top. Giving it up, giving it up, giving it up, giving it up, giving it up. Oh, I'm like a spinning top. Giving it up, giving it up, giving it up, spinning top. Giving it up, giving it up.
For those of you wondering, that road is in Colorado from Durango to Silverton. It actually goes to La Grande, but from Durango to Silverton, it's called the $1 Million Highway. At the time it was built, it was $1 million a mile. I would have to say that the views are totally worth it. If you ever have the chance to drive that road, do it. You will not regret it. And stay in Durango or stay in Purgatory, visit Silverton. It is a great little town. I think it's the inspiration for South Park. Whenever I go there, I look for Cartman and his friends. But anyhow, we got to talk about it. It's a beautiful drive. All right, Skinwalker Ranch. Tonight, I watched this show, and I have to say, why Skinwalker Ranch interests me. It's a mystery. Who doesn't like a mystery? And the mystery is part of the lore and the legend about what is Skinwalker Ranch. Let me move over here. Skinwalker Ranch is intriguing on many different levels, not only because of the mythos, the Native American legends of the Skinwalker, of the curse of the Navajo and the Ute Indians, but also of the ranchers, the cow mutilations, the Bigelow era of government-funded research, and now a popular show on the History Channel delving into the mystery, the secret of Skinwalker Ranch. There are some secrets to Skinwalker Ranch, but I think I figured out something tonight. And I'm surprised that, Dr. Travis Taylor is an astrophysicist, and I do not doubt his integrity. But 1.6 gigahertz. And there's your clue. And it's been a recurring theme in the last few shows of 1.6 gigahertz. And there is something to that. How do I put this simply? GPS. I mean, why is there... Okay, so in the previous episode, the one that aired just before this, they re-aired it. They were dropping things from a helicopter, some things with ribbons tied to them that had GPS transmitters to transmit their location, and they would ping and have a geolocation based upon the GPS signal. And those things they were dropping were not where they were supposed to be, or not where they could physically be in 3D space, inside the mesa. The GPS was showing them inside the mesa. And some other anomalies regarding GPS about where space begins above the ranch and below the ranch was an equidistant anomaly, where the atmosphere ends above the ranch 52 miles or so, and then below the ranch 52 miles in the earth. There's some strange things that happen. Granted, add to that mystery, when you drill in the ranch and you pull up material from 100 feet down below the surface, you analyze that material. Dr. Travis Taylor said that if you crunch up a space vehicle or a modern aircraft, those same materials, what is composed in that material you pulled out of the ground, that's what those modern spacecraft are made from. All right, the Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch and Multi-Level Deep. What do I want to say? 1.6 gigahertz. The United States military operates a system of GPS, global positioning satellites, in the L-band range. GPS operates at 1.575 gigahertz. What else operates in the L-band range? Not only GPS, the Russian equivalent, Glasnost, or whatever it's called, the EU, Galileo, European Union, they have a satellite positioning system. The Chinese have something, and they gave it some weird name like Bluedo or something. They all operate in the L-band range. Okay. In 2020, there was a company, actually it was before that, in the early 80s, a company was formed called Light Squared. And Light Squared is a satellite communications company located in, of all places, McLean, Virginia. If you know what McLean, Virginia is, you win a cookie. They're operated out of Virginia. Let's just put it like that. They went bankrupt, and then they reformed as a company called Legado. Legado Networks operates a satellite system. Their satellite, they want to create a network, a terrestrial network, 5G network, using satellites. Who else? It's that we're not talking Starlink, we're not talking Elon Musk, we're talking something that predates Elon Musk. And we're talking about a different technology. And we're talking about a license granted to Legado by the FCC, 1.6 gigahertz at 40 megahertz on either side. So when you get a 1.6 gigahertz and a sideband signal 40 megahertz, we're talking about a 5G network. Communication. Yeah, it is communication. It's not alien, it's terrestrial. The United States Department of Defense strongly objected to the FCC, which unanimously, for some unknown reason, the FCC granted them a license to operate in the L band at 1.6 gigahertz with a 40 megahertz band at 1.6 gigahertz. They granted that despite the objections of the Department of Defense, which said Legato satellite technology, the 5G network technology, will interfere with GPS positioning data and is a threat to United States national security. Come on, History Channel, do your homework. If I can find that in 15 minutes on Google, why can't you guys? Because if they actually said that, there would be no Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. You can explain the GPS data very easily because you have something. Now, there's the unknown. That's the secret, I guess. What is producing the 1.6 gigahertz at that location, and why is it focused 1 mile above the ranch? And why is it causing GPS localized errata? And why is the federal government doing a LiDAR pattern over the ranch? And why are there certain alphabet agencies flying over the ranch with monitoring data, this is over the past three seasons, right? All of that information, take all of this information and you clump it all together, and what do you get? You get something a little bit mysterious. Yeah, there is a secret at Skinwalker Ranch. And tonight we learned that there was a cave system, and the cave system was demolished on purpose by explosives. You care to guess what that might be? How do you find the source of a transmission tower? It'd be really easy, 1.6 gigahertz with a 40 megahertz communication range. And whenever you broadcast in that range, you get UAP phenomena. Are we sure they're UAP? They're only UAPs because nobody will admit to what they are. But who uses GPS data? And I'm talking about precise data, not civilian GPS data is accurate to within, a few meters. Military GPS data is accurate. The tolerances on GPS, it's classified, but come on, it's really close. Pinpoint, meaning if I'm here and a person is there standing next to me, I can differentiate my location and their location, meaning I can get two things on a map and I can tell them apart. There's a reason for that, for military having that capability. But the fact that someone is broadcasting at 1.6 gigahertz with a 40 megahertz, which is an FCC granted license to Legato, which is Light Squared, former company named Light Squared. The unknown is why at Skinwalker Ranch. Let me go over here. Just for giggles, here's the Earth. Let's do a Skinwalker Ranch, Gusser, Utah. Let's look over here. And there is the triangle. And what's right above that triangle, that area right there? That's what they were talking about tonight. And over here is Homestead 2 is what they call it. And look above there is some similar anomalies akin to the anomalies over here in that area here. Here's the triangle. Here's the, call it the portable shed, the prefabricated office command center, if you will. And but why here? And why is it focused in this area? Now, my theory on why here is threefold, I guess. But do you know how a capacitor operates? A capacitor is just like two substrates with a conducting elements with a non-conductive middle, and you charge it, and it will hold a charge. And you have material underground with water flowing with geological formations which are unique to the basin, to that area. What you have here with water running through it, charging a capacitor, a geologic capacitor, which holds energy because of water flowing through it, which creates water flowing through the underground, can create a static charge. And if you have, it's a freak random thing if that's what's actually happening. But on a previous experiment with Dr. Travis Taylor about putting a charge, a Tesla coil, and running it through and finding the ground actually transmitted the charge from one spot to a different spot, I don't know how many meters away it was, but the ground was conducting the electricity that was input into the ground to another spot on, like Homestead 2, I think. To me, that says that there is an electrical anomaly, there is a frequency anomaly, and why 1.6 gigahertz? I mean, is it a coincidence? It's 1.6 gigahertz with a 40 megahertz band on either side of that. That to me says this is a something, an experiment gone awry. Something happened and they tried to bury whatever they were doing because whatever they were doing did something that they didn't intend for to happen. Which you get into all sorts of speculation because you don't know. You can speculate and make informed speculative guess about what did Bigelow do to cause them to bury whatever they were doing that still is transmitting a 1.6 gigahertz on 40 megahertz on either side, or 1.6 L-band transmission that is interfering with GPS, which is at 1.575 gigahertz, along with the other L-band, the GPS satellite navigational systems, which operate in that same L-band range. I think the fact that I'm looking at that map again, 1.575 gigahertz GPS data is being interfered with by 1.6 gigahertz. And it's localized because the transmission source is local. It's attenuated the further you get away from the ranch. Therefore, I think the challenge would be find the source of the 1.6 gigahertz, triangulate it. Put up some sensors at various locations and triangulate the source. Where is the transmission? The FCC does that all the time. Who's transmitting? Where is the transmission of 1.6 gigahertz coming from? You find that, and you solve one secret. But I think it's a terrestrial source, and I think it's a man-made terrestrial source of a past experiment that is still working. Something is transmitting at that frequency, and the government is still interested in it. The government's still running LIDAR, on this area of the Earth. We still got alphabet agencies overflying, wondering what these people are doing. And you got the History Channel, which is trying to promote this as some Bigfoot, chupacabra, coyote, wild coyote kind of thing that's a Navajo tradition of a skinwalker. I'm going to just say, I respect, my wife's Cherokee. I respect the Native American folklore and their myths and the skinwalker legend because, who knows? But I think it's what's more likely. What is, the simple explanation for a phenomena is often the correct explanation of a phenomena. And it's standing right there. It's, good science. It's observable. It's repeatable. It's testable. It's falsifiable. We have a 1.6 gigahertz signal coming from somewhere in this area that is localized, that is causing interference of GPS data, which operates at 1.575 gigahertz. We know that. That we can explain the GPS anomalies, okay? That's under the bus. The GPS will not work as long as that 1.6 gigahertz signal is broadcasting. The challenge, where is the 1.6 gigahertz coming from? Why is it focal? Why is there a focal point at 1 mile above the Earth, above that location? Again, I'm looking at why is it at 1 mile above that location, above the triangle, and what's the significance of the triangle? And I wish we could go back in time to when there might be some early overflight mapping data of the ranch. When was that introduced? When was the triangle introduced? And what changes in that mesa occurred between now and when it was a first topographical map was made? Is there a difference? That'd be another question I'd have. Go back in a historical record. Look at that. Find the source of 1.6. Anyhow, I am fascinated by this subject. I think that this subject is, well, it makes you think. And it's intriguing. It's a mystery. Yeah, it's a secret of Skinwalker Ranch, but it's something that can be explainable. It's real. I have no doubt there is a 1.6 gigahertz signal at 40 megahertz band on a 1.6 gigahertz L band. We know that the FCC granted a license to Light Squared Company, which is now Legato, which is a satellite company which operates a satellite that is intended for 5G communication for a nationwide network on that specific signal. And we know the U.S. military objected to that FCC license granted. We know that Senator Inhofe wrote, I think, to the Biden administration. The Biden administration, I'm not going to say Biden himself. He doesn't know jack squat. But the people surrounding Biden, or some of them, are more intelligent than some others. At least they're not running, economic theory, but sorry, it's true. But the Department of Defense objected to the signal of granting an FCC, granting the license. It happened in 2020. Yeah. Why? And why unanimous? The FCC is composed of both political parties, Democrats and Republicans, and it was a unanimous 5-0 decision to grant the license, even overriding the objections of national security by the Department of Defense. That tells me one or two things. There is something else about that signal. Something they're not telling us. And somebody, I'm going to call it the Men in Black. I think the Men in Black, they're the ones who pulling the strings, if you will. Okay, Men in Black. Black budget. Why is the NSA? Why is the CIA? Why are there LiDAR flights mapping the region? Why are there planes flying overhead that are not transmitting at altitude? Above 10,000 feet, you're required to use a transponder unless you're a national security flight. And there are planes overflying this area that are not transponding data. You have to have special permission. You have to have, the FAA gets involved unless you're a military flight. Yeah, there are secrets at Skinwalker Ranch. I look forward to the show next week. I'm going to do this again next week because I think it's interesting. And let me know what you think. If you think I'm totally off, if I'm overthinking this, I don't think that I am. I think because you can look it up yourself. Go to gps.gov, look that up. Use Google and look up 1.6 gigahertz FCC approval, April 2020. Legato, Light Squared is the company name. The United States military objected. Senator Inhofe, he has a letter from the Biden administration. The Biden administration is trying to get that license revoked for Legato. Even if they do, why is it still active? I hear. Find it. That's my message to Dr. Taylor. Find the damn source. I'm out of here. I hope y'all have a good night. Just having a little bit of fun.